Can you give one specific example of what you would do to address equity issues in jobs and unemployment, and describe explicitly who would benefit from that strategy? So one example of how you would, a strategy you would put in place or a policy you would put in place that would work on addressing the disparities in employment, and then explicitly describe who would benefit from that strategy. And I'll give you each of them.
For us, when we think about jobs with construction of stadiums, if that's a done deal, we need to be really good about having those jobs for people who live in the community, who are people of color, and we need to do it in this way. If we are going to have jobs for African Americans, for Asian Americans, for Native Americans, for people of color, we need to back it up by funding compliance departments at the Civil Rights Department or at the Minnesota Human Rights Department. Because if we don't do that, all of this stuff is just aspirational. It doesn't make any sense. If there are no penalties for these contractors, these employers who get these big contracts, then it doesn't really mean anything. And so I think, for me, it's really important that if we do it, we have these goals. These goals are not enough. They're just pie-in-the-sky type ideas. We have to fund it on the back end by funding these civil rights departments so that they can enforce them.
Let's get one thing straight. The stadiums weren't. No. Okay. 2 batteries, and we've only been at it for
17 minutes.
Let's get one thing straight. Stadiums weren't a priority. They were just one of many things that gets done. I voted for the stadiums because Representative Champion and I, on the Viking Stadium, for example, worked hard to get language in the bill related to hiring practices, making sure that people from the most disadvantaged 4 zip codes in Minneapolis got access to jobs. We got similar language into the Twins bill. Let me give you some of those statistics. The Twins had a workforce minority and women number of about 26%. That was much higher than what their goal was. And in talking to the hotel and restaurant workers, the union that represents the folks who work at the stadium, they told me that half of their employees live in the city of Minneapolis, and a quarter of the employees live in 4 zip codes: 55411, 55412, and 2 in Senator Hayden's Senate district. And I apologize, I don't know them. But that's not insignificant. Those are jobs for our folks here in our district.